What is up, you guys, and welcome back to my channel. It is Sunday, which means it's a sit down video. Before we get into this video, I want to just thank you all and congratulate us all together because we finally hit 1,000 subscribers, which to me is a pretty big milestone. Well, it's kind of small but kind of big at the same time. So it's pretty awesome that 1,000 of you guys are interested in what I have to put out there every week. So I want to thank you guys so much for all the love and support. It means so much to me. And so with all that being said, let's jump right into today's video. So for today's video, I am going to be discussing something that has been highly requested through Instagram. I've been posting lots of photos as of lately, really embodying my off-season body and just really striving on self-confidence and self-love and just really loving who I am no matter what my body composition is. And it's truly genuine and it's super honest and super raw, and a lot of you guys have been appreciating that and have been asking me how I kind of got to this stage, because if you've been following me for quite some time on Instagram, or if you've known me for quite a while as well, you'd know that I have struggled quite a bit when it comes from transitioning from competition stage lean to the normal kind of life, I guess you could say, to what we call as competitors off season. So I wanted to just kind of share some tips, I guess you could say. I don't want to say tips, but I guess tips is the right word, as to how I got to this level and what I would recommend you guys do so you guys can get to this level as well, because honestly, being where I'm at right now is such a refreshing and such an amazing feeling mentally, because you're just so much happier. Point blank, I'm just so much happier, and it just makes the transition of getting ready for a competition and just, you know, being in kind of the normal life and not having a competition as close as it would be when you're getting ready for that competition just a lot easier and just more enjoyable, I guess you could say. And I think it's just something that's super important for a lot of people, and whether you're a competitor or not, a lot of us do go through the same issues that I used to go through, where we are very negative with ourselves and just find it super hard to find that self-love and confidence no matter what. That's kind of what I'll be going through, is kind of just how I got to where I'm at today, basically. So before we get into the video, I do want to put a disclaimer out there that I'm not totally against getting shredded or being competition lean or anything like that, and I'm not against being where I'm at and being like super fluffy or anything like that, or bulking, or whatever the terms you guys want to use. Like, I'm not one side or the other. Like, I'm not team one side or the other. I'm really just like, I'm just not on a team. I love both sides equally. I have so much fun on both. There's many pros and cons of both, and it's not a matter of being one team or another. It's a matter of just loving yourself regardless. Like, doesn't matter what your body composition is. Doesn't matter you know, if you don't look like so and so. It doesn't matter what social media makes us think is right or wrong. Like, none of that matters. What matters is treating our bodies, ourselves, with all the love and respect that we deserve. And that's exactly what this video is going to be about, is kind of giving you an insight as to how I got to that place and some pointers as to how you can get to that place. But yeah, like, shutting down is awesome, and it's a great way to challenge ourselves mentally, physically, in so many ways, and it just teaches you so much. Like, I documented my competition prep last year, and I do share a lot of that again, like on Instagram and stuff like that. I always talk about how amazing it is and how cool it is that it teaches us that we are honestly capable of so much stuff, and like, it's just so cool to see where we're really able to push ourselves mentally and physically, and it's just an incredible experience. I love competing. It'll always be a part of my life, hence a part, but it will not be my life. It's always a part of my journey. I haven't stopped competing since I started, which was back in 2013, which was like 4 years ago, which is insane. So I definitely love the idea and stuff like that, but the transition of going from that state to, like, I don't like to say normal, but it's what a lot of people call it, so I'm just gonna go with that. But transitioning from like competition to like just normal life, it's really hard, and I totally get it, and I know so many people struggle with this. And for you guys to see me go from like one side of the spectrum to another, and like to do it really positively, I guess you could say, versus what I have done in the past, I guess it's really opened your guys' eyes to show you guys that it is possible to really enjoy yourself on both stages. The reason I'm just putting this disclaimer out is just because I know with a lot of topics that we may cover when it comes to YouTube, there's always going to be that negative flashback on someone saying, well, you compete, or, you know, just there's going to be something negative that comes out of every video sometimes. So I just wanted to put it out there that I'm not team anything, I'm not against anything, I don't think one is right or one is wrong, nothing like that. I'm just honestly sharing my experience as to how I'm happy now, no matter what I look like. Another thing I want you guys to keep in mind before I get into these tips is that no one can teach you how to do it, like step by step, and that it's honestly, like pure honesty, it is something that you're gonna have to go through yourself, and you're gonna have to learn yourself, and it's just something that comes in time, to be very honest with you. It's not easy, so just keep that in mind as I go through these tips. There's definitely no like 1, 2, 3 guide as to how to achieve this mentality, or to achieve this attitude, or to achieve this outlook on, you know, this sport and this whole body journey, I guess you could say. But obviously my vulnerability, my honesty, my rawness through social media is helping you guys in some way. So me elaborating a little bit more versus just on a picture or something like that, if that's going to help you guys, then I'm more than happy to be doing this video. Just so you guys know, it's going to be a lot of talking, a lot of rambling probably. So if you guys aren't ready to sit down for maybe more than 15 minutes, I really don't know how long this video is going to be, but if you guys aren't ready to sit down, then I'd definitely skip through it. Maybe grab some snacks, grab a coffee, grab a drink, whatever, and let's just get right into the tips, I guess. So number one would be, I started to realize that I'm just never gonna be super confident or super satisfied all the time. It is normal, it is human. You're not always gonna be on your A game and always gonna be happy with what you see in the mirror. Like it's just not who we are. With society these days, it's just not possible to be happy every single day with what we see. And we're just, it's just, we always want to challenge ourselves, maybe. I'm still trying to figure that out. Why we can't just wake up every day and just be super happy and super positive with what we see all the time, like literally 100% of the time. But I mean, it's human, it's normal, and that's just something you have to come to realize, is that whether you're super shredded or you're not so shredded or you're kind of happy medium, like you're always going to be like, I wonder what it'd look like if I dieted a little bit harder, or if I did cardio a little harder. Like you're always going to wonder, like, what if this, what if that, or, you know, should I do this, should I do that? Like you're always going to think like, maybe I'm not at my perfect spot. And truthfully, it's good, because it's good to want to challenge yourself a lot of the times. It keeps you motivated, it keeps you keeps life interesting. But number one thing that I've kind of switched in my head is that I'm just never going to be 100% satisfied. It's just what it is. But I can tell you that probably 90% of the time I'm happy, I'm confident, no matter what size I am. Being more fluffy, like I'm 90% confident. There are times where I'm like, maybe I should diet down, maybe I should clean it up a bit. Obviously I'd love to be maybe a little bit leaner, but that doesn't matter. What matters is that I fully embrace who I am every single day. And I mean, if I lose weight, great. If I stay the same, that's great too. But if I start to get to a point where like it's not comfortable anymore, then that's kind of when you have to flick the other switch and be like, okay, well, make that change then. Go reach out and get the tools that you need to make that change. And that kind of brings me to my next point, just to accept and embrace wherever you are body composition wise. Whether you are cutting, whether you're maintaining, whether you're bulking, whatever it may be, you have to fully accept it and embrace it. And if you're not going to, you're gonna have to make a change. It's pretty simple, and people like to complicate it a lot. It's that like you go through this struggle where you're like, okay, I like the way I am, but then you'll have like those times where you just kind of hit a point where you're just not comfortable, and like legitimately you're just not comfortable. It's just not okay anymore, and everyone's gonna hit that point. I mean, I certainly know I will hit that point, and that's just kind of when you need to like not complicate it so much. And it's like if you truly can't find that confidence, or if you truly can't be happy where you are, you gotta make a change. It's pretty simple. You just have to make a change. Like I said, reach out to a coach, do some research, whatever it may be, and get those tools so that you can make a change to get to where you're gonna feel better. I mean, I know a lot of people probably wouldn't be comfortable where I am, and that doesn't matter, because that's them and this is me. If you personally just can't seem to get to that stage, it just means that you do need to make that change then. And I think for me, Christopher, I see you. And I think for me, I just got to a point. Christopher!
Okay.
You done?
I'm not.
And I think for me, sorry, don't mind my boyfriend. He's been interrupting all my videos today. Snapchat, Instagram, everything.
Truthfully, there was lot.
But for me, I think I got to the point where I would go back and forth all the time about dieting, and I don't know, I couldn't get a grasp of it. Just realized like maybe you really don't want to cut, and if you don't want to cut, and if you're not going to make a change, well then you better fully embrace where you're at. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, if you're not going to do it, then you got to accept the consequences, kind of thing.
Gab's channel.
So, like I was saying before I got interrupted, if you're not going to make a change, then you need to accept it and fully embrace it. If you don't want to accept it and fully embrace it, make the change. It is so simple, it's so black and white, and so many people like to complicate that. Another point would be to cut the negativity and cut the self-bullying. Self-bullying is a legitimate thing. It might sound silly, but it's true. A lot of us pick at ourselves and talk so negatively to ourselves just because of the number we see on the scale, what we see in the mirror, seeing those love handles, seeing the muffin top, seeing whatever it may be, seeing the size on our pants increase, whatever it is. A lot of people, including myself, we beat ourselves up and just talk so negatively to ourselves, and honestly, you need to just cut that out and change that into something positive. Whether it's waking up and just telling yourself one compliment a day, that will make a huge difference to your mindset. It's just, you need to change a negative situation into a positive, because I can assure you there's almost always a positive to a negative, vice versa obviously. But instead of picking at yourself and like talking down on yourself, you need to really make that switch. And it might sound really crazy at first talking to yourself that way, but it helps so much. I talk to myself a lot of the times. It might not be out loud, it might just be in my head, but when you find yourself getting into that rhythm of speaking so negatively and so down on yourself, make that switch right away and realize you're so much more than a size, than a number, than a muffin top, than anything. You are so much more than that. You are a beautiful human being. You are worth more than this negative talk. There's so many people out there who already bully others and speak negatively to us that we don't need to be that one more person. You need to be your own cheerleader. You need to be there for yourself. So just cut that out. Stop it. It's not doing you any good. If anything, it's just making you worse. So just stop. Again, very blunt. And that kind of just brings me back into this topic of, you know, just realizing that you are worth more than you think. Our bodies allow us to breathe, to watch this video that you're watching right now, to laugh, to create memories, to build relationships, to focus on our career. It just, our bodies allow us to do everything in life. Without our bodies, we couldn't be doing anything. So put that into perspective and realize that you're just way more than a body composition, and you shouldn't let a body composition affect you that much that you don't appreciate it for all the good things that it does for you, because your body composition is nothing compared to what our bodies allow us to do. So I mean, that's like another thing. Like, I just kind of stopped spending time just sitting down and picking myself apart and just thinking about that all the time, and I focused myself more on the bigger things in life, such as my career. I've been focusing on just spending all the time that I can with my family, because I do miss out on a lot of that when I'm in prep, and just focusing on my relationships, friendships, boyfriend, everything. Just focusing on other things in life than just, you know, body composition. So speaking of, you know, sitting there and picking yourself apart, stop wasting time on social media and comparing yourself to other people. I used to do this so much in my past off seasons. I would always look at other girls and be like, oh my god, they're doing so much better than me in the off season. You know, they stay so lean, they follow a diet, they do this, they do that, like, they're so much better than me, they're not failing like I am. And it's just like, you need to let that go, and you need to stop dedicating time and energy wishing and comparing and all that stuff, because that's precious time that you could be using towards yourself. You could be investing yourself in something fun and exciting. You could be investing in training your mind to think differently. You could be investing time at the gym. You could be You could be focusing on something else. Like, that time that you spend on social media just comparing yourself and wishing this, wishing that, like, you're just wasting time. You need to change that and focus your time on yourself and those things that are going to make you a better person, physically, mentally, emotionally, whatever it is. Like, just dedicate that time to yourself instead. Like, why are you wasting your time on people that you don't even know, or people that, you know, like, they're just not you. Like, you're your body. There's no point in comparing yourself. There's just not. You know, when it comes to comparing people, I mean, I used to think there was a right and wrong way. When you come off a competition diet and, like, just competition prep, you think, and you kind of have that instilled in your head that there's a proper way to do it. And yes, there's a healthy way to do it. Yes, there's different approaches to do it so that you don't get into the vicious cycles that I've been in. But there just isn't a proper way to be, to look like, or anything like that. It's just a matter of, it just depends on the perspective. I mean, I don't want to say things that are going to totally contradict what I do, like, on the competition side of things, but what I'm trying to say is that there's no right or wrong way to look or to feel about the way you look or anything like that. You are allowed to look whatever way you want and fully be happy, and it doesn't matter if you don't look like this girl or that girl. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you're happy and that you love yourself and that you respect yourself, and that's it. Like, there's just no right or wrong. I think with social media these days, there's definitely that kind of mentality that's been instilled into our heads, and it's something that you need to let go of. I guess my final tip would be to accept that it takes time. It has been 4 years since I started my fitness journey. It was 4 years actually as of January of this year. I've gone through now a few off seasons, and every time I've struggled except for this one. This past one was definitely and is definitely my best off season yet. And when I say that, I don't mean body composition wise or like keeping it in the shape that I intended to. I mean, like, mentally. Obviously, I will continue to work on, like, keeping it in a better conditioning, especially just because I do like me a little bit leaner and stuff like that, but it doesn't mean that I'm not confident and I don't love my body where it's at right now. That's the one thing that I feel like is a little bit confusing to get across, is that yes, I'd love to be at a different body composition because it would help me in my competitions. It would help, it would just help dieting for my competitions. Like, it would just help, and I do like myself at a different body composition. Like, I just personally, that's what I like it at most. But like I just said, it doesn't change the fact that I still love and feel confident with where I'm at. So I hope that makes sense. So yeah, it takes time. It's taken me 4 years to get to where I am today, and I feel like it's just gonna get better. So if you are just transitioning into your first off season, or you're just going through a phase where you lost a lot of weight and you're kind of getting a little bit back, then just know that to get to this status, I guess you could say, or this level of mindset, sometimes it takes time, and it's not always going to be perfect. You're not always going to feel this way, but you do feel like this majority of the time, which is awesome, like I said at the beginning of the video. But it does take time, and again, it's just not something that you're going to learn step by step. It's just something that you're going to have to come to terms with yourself. It's going to take a lot of self-reflecting, lots of self-talking, lots of self stuff. So just keep that in mind when you're trying to figure out the answer as to why you can't get out of a funk, or why you can't seem to just embrace where you're at, and why you're so obsessed with wanting to be a certain way. Like, you need to think about all these things, and it's just something that you need to discuss within yourself and just figure out on your own, unfortunately. This might have not been the answer you guys have been looking for, but as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, it seems to be that my vulnerability, my honesty, and just sharing my highs and lows with you guys through social media is helping you guys get to where I am today mentally. So that's why I made this video, because I wanted to kind of share some of the things that I did with myself, which is essentially what you could say is that these are the things that I did myself that I can think of. I mean, it's a journey that you just go through, but I mean, to think on the top of my head, these are the things that I did differently this off-season versus my past off-season. So this is what helped me. I hope this video helped some of you guys, and I hope what I share on my Instagram continues to help you guys as well. I can't stress enough how amazing it feels to finally be at this spot, and how much I hope so many of you guys get to this spot. Again, disclaimer, when you do a competition prep, it's completely different, and this video was purposefully just to tell you guys how I got to this spot that I am in this off season. So please do not backlash on me anything to do with competition prep. There's just so many different factors that come into play when you're getting ready for a competition versus just kind of living life kind of thing. So I'm gonna wrap up the video here because I think it's gonna be a long one, and I want to thank those who stuck around all the way to the end. You guys are the true MVPs. I hope this video helped some of you guys. If it did, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up. If you guys know anybody that may benefit from this video, definitely go ahead and share it, because I do want to help as many of you guys out there as I can, even if it's in the slightest way, even if I just felt like I was kind of your like life coach right now. Whatever it may be that helped you guys, I'm so happy that this video did. Thank you guys so much for all your love and support. I will see you guys in 2 days for another video. I'm not quite sure what it is yet, to be with you, but we'll see. I hope you guys have a great 2 days. See you soon.